How would you say your enzyme experience like helped you come back into yourself?
Um, I had like the most amazing experience, and still continue to have the most amazing experience. So I've been on a healing journey for 12 years, and probably way before that, but 12 years ago is when I really kind of decided to change my lifestyle, my habits and everything, because I was very, very ill. And at the same time, I embarked on a spiritual journey. I met a guru from Bali. He's got an ashram and he teaches meditation. Anyway, so that kind of took off alongside my spiritual journey. And yes, I did heal, but I was nowhere near healed. And this year I made a decision that I was ready to do whatever it took. So I got in touch with a detox coach, and straight away she's like, okay, right, get on the website. Here's the link, order these enzymes. We're starting like in 7 days. And literally I ordered, it was a 21-day journey, and the stuff arrived like the day before I was meant to start. So I waiting for all my delivery, my ZenCleanz delivery to arrive. I read everything I could about the product, and I watched a lot of videos, testimonials, and people talking about detoxification and cleansing. And so I felt really prepared, but I really wasn't, because I vastly underestimated the incredibly gentle power that the enzymes had. So yeah, so my first real kind of flash of delight was receiving the boxes, and I do also do brand consultancy. So I was like, oh wow, this is so beautifully designed, and everything was just so easy to follow, and so detailed also in what to expect. And so I just kind of devoured all the information, and then went straight into the intestinal cleanse. And I think I rather fooled myself, thinking, oh, I've been on this health journey for 12 years. I've been eating really healthily. And it actually took me by surprise. The first thing was just the amount of waste that came out of my body. I was like, is that even possible? That we hold so much waste? And then kind of, analyzing also my poop. I had, for the first time, I made, like, can we say poop online? Making friends with and actually seeing what was living inside me, I found sort of horrific and fascinating at the same time. So I literally set up a whole laboratory in my bathroom. Gloves, tongs, the whole works, and I analyzed everything. As I said, I was just completely like taken aback with what was coming out. So yeah, that was the intestinal cleanse. By the evening, I was even throwing up, because I must have been so backed up that it just kind of was coming out any way it could. But by day 2, I already felt, I felt like years of healing had taken place after that just one intestinal cleanse. So the results were instant, and I was like, oh my God, this thing is really, the answer to everything. And then, I had 20 days left. So I carried on, and every day I felt better and better and better. And I was just so surprised at how easy it was to fast on the enzymes. So I had never fasted in that way. And I had, I was like, can I really do this? So I had all these sort of, my fridge was full of fruit and veg, thinking, I just kind of won't deny myself. But really and truly, I had a couple of juices in the 21 days, and maybe some steamed broccoli, one week or once a week or something like that. So that was like really easy. And then there was this build up towards day 7, day 6, which was the liver cleanse. And at the same time, I was on the Telegram group. So I started, sort of living everybody else's experiences. And um, it was really, really good because I really maximized on the entire 21-day journey because I was learning so much from other people's experiences. And so for the period of time in between the intestinal and the liver, I started to talk to my liver every day and, kind of psych my liver up, going like, I was so ready to release everything that was making me sick, to release everything that I was holding on to. And I also felt like every day I was beginning to deflate, and I hadn't even realized how inflamed my body was. So that in itself was like amazing to see, my whole body changing shape. And I felt like I was coming home. I felt like finally my body was able to shed everything it was holding on to because, it just couldn't release whatever it was holding on to. So the day of the liver cleanse, I didn't really have any symptoms. I didn't get sort of any headaches or nausea like a lot of people say they did. But by the evening, I I started having like not hallucinations, moment of extreme clarity. And actually, it happened quite soon after the intestinal cleanse. So I would have those aha moments where I would be just doing my laundry or something, and I would just have a flash of something that made so much sense, or a vision of something I had sort of been working out. And I felt like I was also doing a lot of shadow work. Things were just kind of moving around and coming up to be cleared. So that was, pretty phenomenal for me because I had done all this spiritual work beforehand, but nothing really, moved the needle like this. And I also became very aware that, you cannot do the spiritual work without the physical work. And it really is the holy trinity of mind, body, and soul, or spirit. And ZenCleanz was like a two-in-one. It started to shift, not just, physiognomically, but also emotionally. So on the day of the liver cleansing by the evening, after I drank the oil and the lemon, bottle A and bottle B, and I turned off everywhere and I lay down holding my liver as it says to do, I started getting flashes of everything that was sitting in my liver, like all the wounding of years and years. And I get the shivers just talking about it because it was such a gentle process. And it was sort of telling me, hey, you've been holding on to all of this in your liver for a very long time. We're just going to show you what we're about to release. But it was so beautifully done because I was just kind of witnessing it. I wasn't participating in any of the trauma. It was just kind of like a slideshow. And I thought, wow, this stuff is amazing. Anyway, then I went to sleep, and I don't know, a couple of hours later, I felt a wave of nausea. And I thought, wow, I'm going to be sick. So I rushed to the loo, and the next thing, it's quite dramatic, actually, my first liver cleanse. I woke up and I must have passed out, but very gently because I didn't hit anything. And like my face was on the tile, on the cold tile. And I had another wave of nausea, and I thought, right, I'm going to throw up again. And instead, it's like something exploded inside me and water came out of every pore. It was like a massive fountain. And I was like, whoa. And I felt instantly better. I was like, okay, no nausea, whatever. It's like, what was that? And had a shower, went to bed, I'd slept. It was incredible. It was like there was so many toxins inside that it needed to kind of get out in any way it could. But again, gentle. It sounds really wild, but it was all sort of gentle. And I thought, there's nothing really you can't handle in the process. no matter how extreme your symptoms might be, it's all still relatively gentle. So yeah, so that was the day 6 of the liver cleanse. And then the next day, I woke up feeling really rough. But by lunchtime, a couple of hours, I just slept. I just slept all morning. I cancelled my day and slept. And by the afternoon, I had so much energy. And this is someone who had adrenal fatigue for like a long time. And it was also the first time where I actually could feel some form of life force running through me. I mean, I was just in love. I thought, I just want to do this every day of my life. I felt so good on it. And I became the walking, talking advert for ZenCleanz. You know, I just kind of everywhere I went, people were going, you know, what are you doing? You know, you look amazing, you look so healthy. And I was like, oh, it's the cleanses. And everyone's like, oh, I got to try it, I've got to try it. And the rest of the 21 days were just the same. You know, the flushes got easier to do, but you know, the experiences were equally as incredible. And one other flush, I could feel really close to my ancestors. You know, it felt like a plant medicine journey, actually, the whole process. And maybe because I was so in that space, I'm so open to kind of feeling everything that was going on. So yes, I could feel sort of the fracture of all the feminine, you know, the kind of feminine ancestors in my lineage. And it was a really, really intense experience. And a lot of grief came up, but again, everything was constantly moving. So, you know, nothing was stuck in the body. Yeah, it's, I mean, I can't recommend it enough, you know. And then I finished the 21 days and I took a month's break, I think. And then I just hopped straight onto another rainbow cleanse. And that was like so enjoyable because I knew what to expect. And so I was much more present in my body. And still, you know, more and more and more stuff came out. And I was like, liver flukes, what are those, you know? And it's like, were those things living in my body? But it just goes to show how we need to carry on cleansing. And this is just, you know, you just feel you're only starting, but the products are easy to order, easy to follow, so gentle. And I really felt that they did me a world of good. And it was the first time I had a flat stomach. You know, I had suffered from bloating all my life. And I was like, oh, wow. I also fell in love with my body, you know, sort of. And I realized how much I had, you know, really kind of beaten it up and talked down at it. And it was a really actual beautiful experience of being gentle to the body. And really, you know, there was a lot of deep gratitude for the process that it was going through. And yes, I started like exfoliating, you know, and kind of moisturizing, and that was the beginning of the journey, because it carried on for months and months, this kind of really enjoying sitting in my feminine body. And yeah, I think another really incredible moment was thinking, oh wow, this is exactly what I want to be doing. I want to help people. So when I discovered ZenCleanz's affiliate program, I was like, I had like a aha moment. I was like, this is exactly what I'm going to do, because along my journey, I had been helping people. A lot of people would come and sort of ask for help on food and supplements, and I never really sort of had a structure in which to guide them, because I wasn't a nutritionist, I wasn't a naturopath, and this was kind of so effortless. and I think the affiliate program sort of gives you the structure you need. And Daniel is just amazing because, and all of you who moderate the Telegram feed, because every time you have something that you've never sort of encountered before, you know, there's always an answer, and you learn so much from everybody else's experiences. So yes, I think 5 days after having finished my rainbow cleanse, my 7 day, and I remember I filled in all the affiliate form, and as soon as I pressed send, I felt this kind of whirling in my stomach, and something was just like shifting, and I ran to the loo, and all these stones came out. It was just like never seen anything like it, and I was just in awe, thinking that happened so instantly. It was like the moment I was on the right path, saying this is exactly what I want to be doing, I just shed another layer. And I was like, oh, I love ZenCleanz.
That's how I'm supposed to feel. Was there like a specific point that you felt this like, aha, like this is so much different than any cleanse that I've done before?
I think it was feeling empty was a really new feeling for me, because I kind of had become obsessed that I needed to feed my body healing foods, and really and truly it didn't need anything. It just needed the empty space and the enzymes. So that thing, the feeling that you can be completely empty, but you're getting 100% kind of nutrition at the same time. That for me was, you know, incredible. And still till this very day, I mean, every Monday I fast on the enzymes only. And I'm able to stay longer and longer on the fast, because even psychologically, I know that I have the enzymes as support. And I just never have, you know, it's really easy. And I had people who I help, who I support on their ZenCleanz journeys. I have, you know, people who are suffering from cancer, who have cancer conditions, and another person who had lupus. And, you know, the trust that they have in me, because I'm just such an incredible kind of advocate for ZenCleanz. So I was like, I just try to make them feel as safe as I felt on it. And I think that kind of really helps to put their mind at rest. And then they're on the journey, and it's so joyful getting their messages saying, I've never felt this great in my life. I'm like, I know.
Isn't it so? How would you say you sat with that feeling of like kind of a paradox of like empty but also full at the same time?
Um, the biggest help for me was that, I mean, because I had really bad adrenal problems. I every time I tried to fast, or I went on any sort of detox, I would get really severe sugar crashes. And that was like the one thing where I was like, wow, this is incredible. I've never had low blood pressure. I've never had a dizzy moment. You know, it's just, I feel so healthy on it, even during a fast. So for me, that was the safety that it brings with the enzymes. And yeah, where you feel the nutrition feeding your cells, you know, it's just feeding you on a cellular level, and you can really feel that happening inside you. So, you know, I mean, I was at first, I was a bit kind of weary, going, oh my God, what if I have really complicated cases, people with complicated cases coming to me? And somewhere on the feeds, I think someone wrote and said, as long as you know that little bit more than they do, you can guide them. And I was like, wow. And it's true, because it's an exercise of total surrender. So as long as they feel that they're supported and held, and they can surrender, then the journey is just individual, and then it's up to the individual to make most of that journey.
Absolutely.
That's all it takes, is surrender. because everything,
Absolutely.
yeah, everything's been designed already. Everything's been perfectly programmed within the kit itself. You don't need anything. You just need the will to do it, and total surrender and the acceptance of, whatever it is comes, come what may. And that we're all on a different, path, also on a healing journey. And the person who coached and supported me was amazing, because she just kept saying, slow down, this is a slow journey. And her phrase was, move at the pace of love. And I loved it, because that was my mantra throughout my entire 21 days. So, even just feeling the love, and the love in the product, and the love in the enzymes, it's full of love, this
World,
product.
which is what I always ask people to sort of close our chat, is like, what do you do to create a better self and a better world? And I would say by healing myself, I'm able to help other people. I'm able to have that ripple effect into my clients and people I interact with, healing my lineage, like 7 generations in the past and 7 generations in the future. I'm able to do that. And by doing that, I'm able to help the world become better, because I'm showing people where their light is. And I think it
Yeah.
is so powerful for people to remember who they are. And I think these enzymes really allow that process to happen so easily and so in tune with everything that's happening within our systems, wherever you're at. So what do you do to create a better self and a better world?
It's sorry, I just had there's so many things I want to say about it. I could write a book. But yes, exactly. I mean, I do a lot of meditation, and for me, it was just kind of aligning on that same frequency. And when I meet people with a lot of problems in their family or in a relationship, and I go, don't worry, just meditate on your own, and you're just going to expand, your own frequency, and that's bound to kind of start cleansing and clearing everything around you. And I found that on the cleanse, that's what was happening. It's like I sat in this quiet space, but it was within. And you also start aligning with your higher self, because there's nothing else. There's no distraction. There's no, food that squashes down all the emotions. Everything's just, being allowed to freely move around. And I remember putting it to the test, and sitting with my family, and usually we all sort of trigger each other at some point. And instead, I felt like a spectator, and I wasn't reacting, and I was just kind of going, oh wow, this is just incredible. The peace and harmony I felt within was just, and I was just walking around, and it's incredible, because everyone I met was commenting. So I thought, wow, there must be something about my aura that's different, and that people are really noticing. So yes, and one last thing that I think is really worth mentioning is that even in between cleanses, I changed my whole relationship with food as well, and food was no longer scary, and I could eat a broader scale of foods as well, that before used to make me instantly ill. And after my 21 day and 7 day back to back, I had a wedding in Sicily. And I thought, what am I going to eat? But I just took the bottle of mycelia, and I took the powders with me, and I just had a really nice time, and I just ate whatever there was, and there was no pressure on me either. And I knew I was being taken care of, just during these few days where I couldn't control what I was eating. So I'm really grateful for that as well, that I know I can just take them with me wherever I go.